feather Scott Wessex blades. Just took the plastic wrap off, and you can see there's a little thin amount of the epoxy in the film, and you'll see what I mean about having a rubbery and resilient epoxy as opposed to brittle one. Okay, it's rubbery and it's got some life to it. In my experience, I prefer a rubbery one rather than a brittle form of epoxy. Another little thing is, if you've got your scales, and let's say you get them in my Carter, so it's 3/8, when it comes to the tolerance on how thick you're going to have your end dimensions on your scales, if you haven't ensured that the pins are oversized and haven't gone through, and you've ended up getting a pin it still hasn't reached the outside of your scale, you're going to lose thickness going through to get the pin exposed and ground off on your belt sander. So for the cost of the brass, I always find it's worth it making sure they're slightly oversized, so when they're gluing, epoxying or whatever, they're through and out the other both sides. And then you end up with, if you've got something that's like 3/8, you're not going to be able to take much thickness off to get your handles. When it comes to the wood ones, I've got a lot to play with, and I like a little bit more thickness, so you know, some of my go locks will be slightly more than 3/8 when it finishes. I've given myself an opportunity to keep it slightly thicker, so I'll get this bandsaw off the excess brass, and then I start finishing it off on the belt sander. So down we go onto there. Should be able to see it. Find my goggles. Specs is on the description. Use something, because you never know. Anything to stop you feeling in your eyes. So now that's the excess brass pin took off. The reason I'm using the bandsaw is brass doesn't have conduct electricity. Brass is copper and zinc. So if you appreciate the fact that it is copper is a brute of a conductor. And okay, hopefully the new battery should carry on. Where's my bike? So yeah, brass being an alloy of copper and zinc, the heat just shoots straight through, and epoxies can become fluid again, so you end up, things move. So I find using a bandsaw blade is a bit cooler on that. When it comes to using the belt, don't drive the damn thing into the belt, because you just shoot the heat down the thing and you probably end up just melting the glue again. So from here on in, it's a case of using a pretty new belt. I try not to generate too much heat burning the handle material, heating up the metal, and heating up the brass that's in the handle material. Okay, so let's get going and see how long these batteries last in this cold garage. stage done. Now to come for a little bit of hand finishing. This is where I do like to have something that's, as I say, that you have the hand finishing of the blade. A lot of the times in the way I used to do old, before I went full time, I'd use a rasp on the handle to remove material. Well, of course now, in order to get the same bevel, I'm using Loki with the platen like that. This now is an opportunity for me to use hands, just a touch of old school. But oh yes, this is a knife vise. Again, you could cite me as being the luckiest bugger ever on earth. Sent to me by RDP, Rob Phillips of Australia. Okay, he made a batch up, powder coated. It's basically a series of tubes that allows undoing that means you can turn this, undoing that one means you can turn that, and you can move things around, and then that clamps on two pieces of wood that fit inside the barrel on your blade, and it just gives me the opportunity to turn everything around, and this is to get all the shoulders off of the scales, and to get a nice even finish on the wood, on the metal, on the fibre liners, without using the machine and overdoing it and burning it, because you can actually burn the fibre liners. So this is just now me going like that, and the fingers conform to the shape of the knife a little bit, just to knock all those sort of angular passes that you've done on the machine. And I'm now using 100 grit sandpaper. 80 will be fine, 80, because I was using 36 on the machine. This is now a pass at 100, and then I'll work up through the grits. Depending on the material, I could use one of my buffer wheels, but this here will give you far more attention to detail than you could on a machine. You can actually feel through the paper, and you can get a nice finish on the brass as well. And sometimes with handle materials like oak, you can get sections where if you get a piece of grit, you can gouge out great long lines, and you can spot that happening, and just be aware of the sections when you come onto areas later on that you've got to go gentle on that particular knife and that particular piece of wood. Now I've got it buffed up to some degree. Now I'll make a start on the sheath, which will be the next part. Next join me again. It's gone from Wessex blades with an insight on how I put attention into making knives from start to finish. Next join me again. Till next one.